I would try to solve all the 4 sets, but more often than not, I would be able to solve 3.5 sets, and then I would give myself the leeway to take a few guesses in the final set, because that can really boost your score up. So these are strategies that I developed after giving a lot of mocks. If you look at the really high ceiling percentiles, 15 mark gap between a 99.9 and a 99.99, and that can only be achieved with a bit of luck on the D-Day is what I believe. Hi guys, my name is Mridul Agarwal. I have secured a 99.99 percentile in CAT 2022 examination with a perfect 100 percentile in the DILR and QA sections. I have just completed my engineering from Jadavpur University in BE Information Technology. I have joined IIM Calcutta as a fresher. I started preparing for CAT in January 2022, and just like every other aspirant, I spent some good 2 weeks trying to figure out all the possible resources and all the available coaching institutes that I should take up. And then after talking with a lot of seniors from my own college, I figured it out that anywhere you go, whatever resources you use, if you put in the hard work, you can achieve the target. And that is why I never really had this FOMO of I should choose X or I should choose Y. I just picked up whichever suited me. So I was a full-time student, so I went for online coaching from an academy, and that is where I pursued my coaching from. So for VARC, A on essays is something that everyone recommends reading, and I also used to read I did not read a lot, but I used to refer to them every now and then. For RCs, I had taken VARC 1000 by Gijo sir. For DILR, I used to pick up past year papers of various institutes like Time, CL, IMS. I would also solve these questions from a popular YouTube playlist like Elite's Grade, LRDI Master, and again solving a lot of sectional and full length mocks. For QA, initially I was very slow. I used to solve a very less amount of questions, so I had to work on speed along with accuracy. So I used to pick up any source that I could find. Time material is very good, their handouts that they give. Apart from that, Rodha YouTube channel. And then on the Unacademy app, they have this practice session where you can practice a lot of questions, and the practice questions keep on changing based on the level of difficulty. So if you solve an easy question, they give you a tougher question next time, and in that way, I was hooked to it, so to say. Definition of a cliche when it comes to VRC that engineers are not good at it. Although I was scoring decently well throughout the mock season, I did screw up VRC on the D-Day when I managed only to get 10 correct and 11 incorrect, having a total score of 22 in VRC. So yeah, it can go wrong on the D-Day. My VRC strategy was very aggressive. Actually, my entire paper strategy was very aggressive. We on attack mode. I would want to solve the maximum number of questions that I can, because I knew my accuracy was not good. Accuracy was not good, so I would want to keep my attempts higher so that I could have a net positive outcome from it. If it is a tough paper, it might not work out for you, and if it is an easy paper, it can work out for you in your favor. So yeah, maybe that day I didn't have a good day on VRC. So I think VA is an acquired trait. If you practice a lot, you get a sense of how the sentences align to form a coherent passage, right? There are some tricks and tips that you learn through your coaching or through your mentors of how to go about it, but it is mostly intuition that you develop by solving a lot of questions. And since CAT is an aptitude exam, solving a lot of questions is what will get you through. When we start preparing for DILR, everyone is really anxious about the set because it is a completely new section that you have not come across before. When you start practicing sets, you realize that you are more comfortable solving either the DIA or the LR sets, but you should not really be fixated that I'll only solve DI or only solve LR sets, because in my slot 1 CAT 2022, there were no DI sets. All the 4 sets were LR sets, and a lot of people struggled because they were trying to find the DI set, right? You should try to practice DILR sets from a wide variety of sources, and it's okay if you initially fail to solve them or take a lot of time, because I mean, you should try to solve the set on your own, even if it takes you 30 minutes, 40 minutes, or even an hour, because the sense of satisfaction you get and the confidence boost that you get after solving a set on your own is unmatched. Initially, you have to spend time solving those sets. You have to look at quality over quantity. You have to put in those hours, and you will get there, is what I believe. And Even if I can do it, I think anyone can do it. So for DILR, there are 20 questions come, and usually solving 2.5 sets correctly does get you across the 99.9 percentile. But if you really want to push your percentile really high, then solving 3 sets out of 4 is something that you should always target. I would try to solve all the 4 sets, but more often than not, I would be able to solve 3.5 sets, and then I would give myself the leeway to take a few guesses in the final set, because that can really boost your score up. So these are strategies that I developed after giving a lot of mocks, right? That if I'm able to solve 3 sets with 90% accuracy, and if I take a few guesses in my final set, and that can boost my score a lot. If you look at the really high ceiling percentiles, there's like a 15 mark gap between a 99.9 and a 99.99, and that can only be achieved with a bit of luck on the D-Day is what I believe. For the QA section, I believe a lot of aspirants are really fixated on the weightage of the different topics like arithmetic, algebra, geometry, etc. But while preparing, I would never bucket a question into a particular topic. I would just see a question for its merit, if I'm able to solve it or not, because getting fixated on these buckets does not really help. A lot of coaching institutes and faculties vouch for just do arithmetic properly and you can get a 99 percentile, but that is not true. While solving mocks, the questions of arithmetic are something that can be made more difficult or challenging, and I myself did not have a great accuracy, the least accuracy in arithmetic questions when compared to the other buckets or the other topics. So I think you should always look to master all the topics, or at least have a basic understanding of all the topics, so that if an easy question comes your way, you don't miss that out. Coming to my strategy, I had practiced a lot of questions, I had given a lot of mocks, so I had reached a stage where I was very comfortable of attempting a high number of questions, and on the D-Day, it so happened that I got the flow and I was able to attempt all the 22 questions, out of which I got 21 correct and 1 incorrect, and did manage to score 100 percentile. But it is not always the goal to attempt all questions. In QA, I think you should always focus more on accuracy, because even if you do 13 or 15 questions with a good accuracy, that can give you a good percentile. So I believe this CAT journey is really stressful and enduring for all of us, and we should never really get very comfortable throughout this journey. I was a full-time college student, so I had college starting from 10:30, and I would get time around 12:30 to 2:30 between classes where I would write mocks. So I was used to writing mocks in the afternoon session. When the CAT admit card came out, I got the morning slot. And if you are from Kolkata, you would know that TCS Geeto Bitan is the center that you always take for granted that yehi milega. But I got a center which was 3 hours away from my house. Early in the morning, I had to go there, and initially I was very disappointed and disheartened that how will I do it. But then I had 1 month, so I did start getting up early and giving my exam in that duration of the slot. So yeah, you should never really get comfortable, and you should adapt to the changes that come across you. My D-Day was very topsy-turvy in the sense that I reached my center pretty early, but when the exam started and people were still left to complete the registration. So the VARC section has started for me, and there were a lot of noise going on in the background. So I had appeared for slot 1, and the VARC in slot 1 was comparatively tougher, and while solving the paper I did realize that I was struggling a lot, and my accuracy was low. I was taking a lot more time, and maybe it was the nerves, I don't know. I spent 35 minutes attempting the VARC section. I was not very satisfied, and then I just stopped. I was like, I need to take a breather, I need to relax, because my strength sections are going to come up next, which were the DILR and QA section. Then the DILR section started. During the first 10 minutes, I was struggling a bit. I managed to do 1 set somehow, but the options and the questions were such which made you second guess yourself. So there were 2 questions back to back which had none of the above as their answers, and so 1 hour I had passed, and I had not done very well in the VARC section. I had managed to do the first set, but I was not very confident because of the answers that I had gotten. The second set was a bit easier for me to go through with, so I was not very confident as to how much I would end up scoring, but then I was keeping my calm. I was just putting in my effort, focusing, and I did manage to do the third set also. And then in the fourth set, I took a couple of guesses, and I attempted 19 questions overall out of 20 questions. So then the VARC and LRDI sections were done, and now it was time for QA. So somehow I managed to get Zen mode on in QA and everything was flowing, and I did end up attempting all the 22 questions in the QA section, and I was pretty satisfied with my attempt, and I was not really hoping that I would end up getting a 99.99, because when I came out I heard people saying that they found VRC easier than what I had found it. So yeah, you should not listen to everyone whatever they are saying outside the exam, or you should just go home and sleep after the exam. I have a 998 profile and I'm an engineering fresher. I had calls from all the 19 IIMs except IIM Shillong. I converted all the IIMs except IIM Ahmedabad, and I'm joining IIM Calcutta. My advice to future aspirants would be to it is good to be curious, but it is more essential for you to just start off at some point rather than having so many questions in your mind. When you've not even started your journey, there is no perfect material, there is no perfect strategy. It is always better for you to put in the hard yards, put in the hard work, your time, and develop these strategies on your own, because that is what will stick with you, and there is no substitute for hard work. You need to put in the hours, you need to put in the work. It is also, I would suggest that you form a group of like-minded peers who you could interact with and share your struggles with, because this journey has more downs than ups, and it is very common for anyone to feel very anxious or low in their journey, and it is always good to have people who are going through the same journey with you to help you out. And I mean, you should always have a very competitive yet healthy environment around you, in which you all can grow together.